The 2023 live-action version of Disney's The Little Mermaid is an entertaining derivative film that will appeal to younger audiences and hardcore fans of the original, but it probably won't win over any new fans. Like many of the live-action Disney remakes, this one sticks close to the original. It keeps the core plot, almost replicates scenes beat for beat, and has often identical dialogue. As a much longer film though, certain scenes and moments have been stretched out and explored further. The action scenes are more engaging and exciting, and there's plenty of room to breathe beneath the musical numbers. From director Rob Marshall, producer of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, this film has a surprising amount of stuff in common with those movies. So much so, at times it could be a pseudo spin-off to some of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. The at-sea sequences and the on-land sequences are well shot, with great sets and an adherence to period costume and designs. The underwater sequences are perhaps the least visually interesting of the film, however. Many of them strive for realism. That means there's a darkness to a lot of the underwater scenes, with certain colours popping here and there in certain scenes. For a movie about a mermaid based on a colourful animated movie, this one is surprisingly lacking in that regard. It's quite dark. Halle Berry is great in the lead role, doing a good job at making Ariel a relatable and likeable character. However, halfway through the movie she loses her voice, and as such has little to do except look pretty from that point onwards. It's a shame that the film and script couldn't provide her with more to do in the main bulk of its narrative, because she is very good at emoting, as well as singing, and yet a huge chunk of the film prevents her from doing either of these things. The side cast are fantastic, particularly Daveed Diggs and Awkwafina. These characters provide the film with much needed levity and comedic beats, and they have certain energy with one another. An infectious fun vibe hits the screen whenever they appear. Plus, both of these characters do a great job at creating new twists on the classic animated versions, while still adhering to what made the animated versions so good. Melissa McCarthy is good as the villain Ursula. Her makeup and look are fantastic, but she is often relegated to being a stereotypical bad guy with vague motivations about revenge. Additionally, towards the final act, the action and stakes escalate, proving that not all animated movies can translate well to live action. Things get a touch too grandiose and silly, breaking the somewhat grounded reality that came before it. The 2023 live-action Little Mermaid is slightly too long with an uneven pace. It attempts to be faithful to the animated movie, perhaps a little too much. The cast is fantastic at bringing the animated characters to life in a new, interesting way. Sadly, not all of the animated movie works well in live-action form, particularly the final act of the movie, where things get pretty cheesy. But there are some new additions in that regard that make things a little better.